Hello everyone, Mike Morrison from Rapid BI here. Recently I've done a couple of videos about LinkedIn and groups and engagement and stuff. And somebody sent me this fascinating video clip, and it's a video that took place at, let me look it up, at Strata Data 2018. And the lady speaking is a lady called Bonnie Ballaroo, who is responsible for a lot of the data and the actions that happen within LinkedIn. And there's a clip I'd really like you to look at and listen to, because it impacts what we do and how we can make LinkedIn successful. Have a listen to this.
So the big difference between the feed relevance example and the others is that in the feed relevance, the perverseness came from the fact that it was in this self-reinforcing loop, right? Whereas with the cars and the rats, it was that the humans knew they were being measured and they changed their behavior. So I'm wondering if you've seen sort of behavior changing perverseness, of the cars and rats type at LinkedIn, and how you specifically respond to those kinds of cases.
So certainly any system can be gamed, and I think we just try to do a good job of making sure we're not relying too much on any one signal, so that, for example, writing a very like-baity post that's very easy to like might cause broad distribution. So we wouldn't want to, if all we optimized for was likes, for example, then like-bait could take over the feed. But using a more diverse selection of signals helps make sure it's harder to game.
So in other words, it's if you want your posts, your articles, and even your comments inside groups to be noticed in people's feeds, it's got to be in the feed, and it's got to meet a bunch of criteria. So the better written it is, the contents of it, the likelihood of somebody commenting without it being link bait is really, really important. So it's not just about one factor. That we now know, that's fact. But this gets really, really intriguing.
So I had a question about is there any use of the percentage of people that are in your network compared to how many react to it? Because especially at conferences, people collect LinkedIn like Pokemon sometimes, and I don't know if that's a good or bad or neutral strategy, and if you found that is indicative or something you penalize, or it doesn't matter.
So the question here is, does it matter how big your following is as to whether people will see what it is that you're actually writing about? Let's find out.
Yeah, so the feed has a sense of affinity between members. So if you and I are connected, but every time you see my posts, you never respond, the feed will learn not to bother showing you my posts anymore, because it's not going to work. So in that sense, if someone is connecting to a bunch of people but never talking to them, it won't really get them anywhere, because the feed will learn that these people are not actually interested in each other.
So that's really fascinating, isn't it? So the way that the LinkedIn feed works is it presents people that follow you, people that are connected to you, with your stuff. If repeatedly you fail to get any engagement, and by engagement LinkedIn seems to take comments and likes as part, and shares as collateral, reading it just isn't good enough. You've got to give some active feedback. If you do not give repeated feedback, then you're not going to see the posts from certain people very often. This is really, really important, because it means, of course, that just because you're reading stuff is useful, but if you're not going to give feedback, if you're not going to play the game, if you're not going to share it, if you're not going to comment, if you're not going to add some value to that discussion, then LinkedIn won't show it to you. So it doesn't matter how many people you follow. So this is really fundamentally important to the way LinkedIn works. What this also means is, if you're one of those people that puts posts up every day, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, then you're wasting your effort. You're much better off strategically putting 1 or 2 good posts up once a week, once a fortnight, and encouraging people to engage. That would be really useful. So I've now got to do my bit. You've watched the video. Please, folks, like, comment, share, do something to show me that this content is of value to you, so that you get to see some more of what I do. Thanks very much. My name is Mike Morrison. This is Rapid BI. Have a great week.